How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. Now please, don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be, perhaps, that his shoes were too tight. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm, lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now, hanging a mistletoe wreath. "And they're hanging their stockings," he snarled with a sneer. "Tomorrow's Christmas, it's practically here." And he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming. "I must find some way to keep Christmas from coming, for tomorrow I know all those Who girls and boys will wake up bright and early, and they will rush for the toys, and then, oh the noise, noise. That's one thing I hate, it's all that noise. Then the Who's young and old will sit down to the feast, and they will feast. They will feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beef, which was something that I cannot stand at the least. And then they will do something I hate most of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, they will stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They will stand hand in hand, and the Who's will start singing. And they will sing, and they will sing, and they will sing. And the more the Grinch thought of what Christmas would bring, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why? For 53 years I put up with it now. I must stop Christmas from coming. But how? Then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat. I'll make a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked at this great Grinchy trick.
With this coat and this hat on the just like Saint Nick. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus and as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel. Just face the music, you're a monster, Mr. Grinch, yes you are. Your heart's an empty hole. Your brain is full of spatter, you got Gallagher's soul, Mr. Grinch. I wouldn't touch you ever. 39 and a half and
Now, all I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No. The Grinch simply said, if I can't find the reindeer, then I will make one instead. So he called his dog Max. Then he took some red thread and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackled sleigh. And he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, "Get up!" And the sleigh started down towards the homes, where the Who's lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air. All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square. "This is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch. But if Santa can do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once, for a moment or two. He stuck his head out the fireplace flue, where the little Who's stockings all hung in a row. "These stockings," he grinned, "are the first things to go." And he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present. Popguns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn and plums. And he stuffed them in bags, and the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. And he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash. And he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. "And now," grinned the Grinch, "I'll stuff up a tree." And the Grinch grabbed a tree. But when he started to shove, he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast. He saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter, who got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why? Why didn't you take your Christmas tree? Why?" But you know, the old Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick. "Why, my sweet little tot," the fake Santa Claus lied, "there's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I am taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, then I will bring it back here." And his fib fooled the child, and he patted her head, and he got her a drink, and then he sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. And he went up the chimney himself, the old liar, and the last thing he took was a log for their fire. On the walls he left nothing but some hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb, that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses.
You're a vile one, Mr. Grinch. You have termites in your smile.
You have all the tender sweetness.
I'm a seasick crocodile, Mr. Grinch. Given the choice between you, I'd take that seasick crocodile.
It was 1:15 dawn. All the Who's still abed. All the Who's still snooze. When he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsels, the trimmings, the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. "Pooh, pooh to the Who's," he was grinchishly humming. "They're finding out now that I know Christmas is coming. They're just waking up, I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang over for a minute or two. Then all the Who's down in Whoville will all cry, 'Boo-hoo!' That's a noise," grinned the Grinch, "I simply must hear." So he paused, and the Grinch put a hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why? The sound said merry. It could be so, but it was merry. Very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes, and he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling over. What? How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours until his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, doesn't come from the store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day, and the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load for the bright morning light, and he brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast.